All right. I'm going to pretend you're my student and try not to talk back to you as grad students. I'm going to try to model it as purely as possible. Okay. So we are doing the short I lessons. You can get that lesson plan out next to you. I'm going to pretend I'm the teacher. So I'm going to do my best to only show you what the student would see. So you can follow along on step 4 and you can kind of listen to how I go through that script. And the only thing that's going to be awkward is that I'm going to show you both ways, how to do it in person when they're next to you and how to do it online. So that's the only piece that will seem a little bit awkward is when I'm switching back and forth to those two things. Okay, let me just make sure that's all open and ready to go. Okay, so let's pretend they just finished step 3 with their review words. Okay, I'm going to have you pick up your mirror or look at the screen, and I want you to remind me what you know about the two kinds of sounds we have in our alphabet, our vowels and our consonants. First of all, can you remind me which cards on here are the vowels? That's right, the pink ones are the vowels. They are so special, so they get to be in that bright color. So the pink ones are our vowels. Whoa, we don't have as many pink ones as we do yellow ones. What are the yellow ones called? Consonants, that's right. Okay, so we have two kinds of sounds, vowels and consonants. Let's talk about vowels. What does our mouth do when we're making a vowel sound? Is it open or is it blocked by something? Yes, it's open. Those are our open mouth sounds. And what does our mouth do when we're making a consonant sound? Yes, it's blocked by our lips, tongue, or teeth. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple sounds as a little warm up. You either look in the screen or you look in your mirror and you tell me what your mouth is doing, and then we'll know vowel or consonant. Okay, watch my mouth. Ah, you say it. Vowel or consonant? Yes, how did you know it was a vowel? Because your mouth was wide open, just like you're biting an apple. Ah. All right, try this one. B, b. What's your mouth doing for that one? Yeah, how does it start? B. Your lips start closed and they pop open. That must be a consonant sound because the little puff of air is blocked by your lips. All right, how about t, t, t? What's happening there? Your lips or your teeth and your tongue are blocking that little puff of air. That's a tongue tapper because your tongue is tapping on the back of your teeth. T, t. All right, you're warmed up. You're thinking about sounds. Well, now I've got a new sound to add to our pile of flashcards today. And I want you to think about if it's a vowel or a consonant, okay? All right, listen to these words first. We're gonna listen to the sound that's in the middle. Ready? I'll say them first, then you echo. Bit, sip, Kim, pin. Okay, now I'm gonna have you echo and we're gonna listen to the middle. Ready? Bit, sip, Kim, pin. Good job echoing. What sound did you hear in the middle of bit, sip, kin, pin? Do you know? All right. If they do know, great. You move on. If they don't know, let's sound out one of them. B, it. Ooh, watch my mouth in the middle of bit. B, it. That's right. It. Is the it sound a vowel or consonant? Yes, it is a vowel. And if you didn't know, we would look at our mouth and we would see our mouth is technically open. Is it wide open like ah? No, it's not wide open. It's just like a little smile. It's just a crack open. Yeah, so now you know two vowels. All right, let me have you get the keyword. Well, we'll go back to that in a second. Do you know what letter goes with the sound eh? Oh, you got it. Okay. But let me just show you what it looks like. All right. So if the child is next to me, I would likely be using paper or a little whiteboard, and I would pull this out and we would look at the words. All right, you were right. It is the letter I that says I. Now I'm going to have you do the little short vowel symbol that we do, the little breath. It kind of looks like a smile. Okay, can you do that on top of all of your short vowels? Go ahead. That's right. I, I. Nice marking that. Where do you see the I sound in this word? Is it at the beginning, middle, or end? Yeah, in these words, it's at the beginning of all of these words, the middle of all of these words. You know, it can also, our if sound could also come at the beginning. If I got rid of that letter, we have another word here, in. So it can come in the middle or the beginning. I'll leave that one like that so we remember it can also come at the beginning. All right, now let's try reading these words. To sound out these words, we're going to have our finger right underneath, and you're going to tap each sound and blend. B, it, bit, keep going. It, sip, keep going. K, kim, in. Nice job with the I sound. Now, do you know what goes with, what sound goes with, what keyword goes with I? I know you have those foundation posters in your classroom. That's right, itchy. We have I, itchy, I. Some of my students, they get confused because they see a monkey and they think for monkey, but really he's got some bugs in his armpit and he's itching. So for this card, we're going to say I, itch, I. That's a different shaped mouth than this card. Watch how my mouth changes. A, apple, ah. I, itch, I. So when we see these two letters on the paper, we see those letters, and that tells us that our mouth is going to do a different shape for each of them. Ah, I. Okay? Now, let's try practicing the I, itch, I. So I know you have a doodle board at home. Why don't you get your doodle board out, just like me, and we're going to practice doing it. So for the letter I, we're going to go top to bottom. And then, oh, I did not leave myself very much room. Let me try that one again. You know what? I think the best way for me to do it is nice and flat. Let's see if we can get that off. Okay, so I, itch, I. I, itch, I. I, itch, I. Good job. Okay, clear that. Now, grad students, this would be the time where we anchored in our notebook. I will show that in a moment. Okay, and also grad students, if we were doing this online, we might do something like this instead. Instead of me, I would do the auditory part, and then instead of me pulling out the whiteboard or the piece of paper, if I'm sitting next to my student, instead I would have this page, and I could use the spotlight on Zoom to help the student track. And then the student could either use the drawing tools to, let's get that, the drawing tools to, find what looks the same in each word. And I could get it set up so that they could circle the vowel in red. That's one thing to do. Or what we could do is just on PowerPoint, highlight and change the color to red. That would be fine too. So all different tools for what you could do to mark that up if you're doing it online. And the rest of it would be the same. They can do any kind of kinesthetic thing. All right, nice job learning about it. Now let's try practicing that with your word list. So if I'm with the student, I'm going to pull out my paper word list. If I am working online, I'll have a digital word list. All right, so I'm going to have you get your tracking tool out. And let's get this paper. Okay, so notice how I put the vowels in red for you already. I'm helping you out by having those vowels in red. When you see that little letter I, what is your mouth going to do? What sound? That's right. That's our sound. So I'm going to have you put your tracking tool out. I'm going to have you whisper read row number 1 to yourself, and then when you're ready, you read it out loud. nip, and so on. So this will look just like doing the review words. Unlike the review words, it might be a little bit more tricky because you are focusing on something that's new for the student, and your review words are review. So there might be more opportunities to work on fluency and accuracy with or automaticity with review words, whereas a lot of times with new words, we're working on accuracy. Okay. Now I can tell that for the pace that I'm going with this student, this pretend student, this list is probably too big. Somebody who's going back to the beginning of level 1 might need a much shorter list or might need word families or something like that. So perhaps, but this makes sense because I'm only on lesson 6 with the student. I'm still getting to know them and I might not know quite how to scaffold yet. So sometimes during the lesson you realize, oh boy, and you can just either fold the paper or just say like, okay, we're going to work on this part of the list today, you know, and that might be enough for you. For the sentences, so in this case, for whatever reason, I decided to give them a little bit of help by putting the vowels in red for them there. For the sentences, I want them to find the vowels. So I would say, okay, get your pink highlighter for your vowels, and let's take a look and see if we can find any I, itchy, I. There's one there. Oh, there's another vowel. We can mark that vowel too. We can mark our A's to help us get ready for the two different shapes that our mouth will do. Okay. Now, when you get to this word, I've underlined that for you because that is a teacher word. I don't know if you've learned that sight word yet, so I'll help you with that word if we need to. Okay, and I made the font way too small here, didn't I? All right. Go ahead, and I want to have you practice reading that sentence to yourself. It on the at. Good job sounding out those words. Now let's work on snapping them together, okay? Let's try the first word. Kim. Okay, Kim is it a animal or a person? Yes, it's a person's name. Okay, so now we know this is about somebody named Kim. Try the next word. It fits. All right, good. Try both words together. Kim fit. Good job. I see some sight words you know. On the, all right, let's try it smoothly. What do we have so far? Kim fit on the mat. Kim fit on the mat. Nice job with that. So what do you picture for the sentence? What's happening here? Kim fit on the mat. Well, right, that's what the sentence says, but what do you see in your brain? What do you see? Do you see a boy or a girl? Okay, so you see a girl, and where is she? She's on a mat. Yeah, I picture a mat like, do you picture it like a rug or like a little welcome mat? Which kind of mat are you picturing? Oh, okay, a welcome mat. So Kim this little girl is sitting on a welcome mat. Is her body hanging off of it or is she all tucked in and sitting on the mat? Yeah, you said picture a crisscross applesauce. Good. So we see a little girl sitting crisscross on a mat. Nice job with that sentence, because good readers, not only do they get the words right, but they pay attention and they think about what they're reading. Yes. All right, let's try the next one. And then so on and so on. Now, if this is tedious and taking forever, grad students, that's assigned to you. Oh boy, I need to scaffold this. I need to make this more doable for my student. So that could be changing the length of the sentences. It could be changing the font. It could be changing the size, the coloring. Perhaps you're going to be doing more previewing the word list to support the student as they get going. So those are all things that it's not one size fits all. Just like the review words, you're going to be making this an activity that not only they feel successful at, but you're pushing them forward. Because this is not review. This is new content. Well, actually kind of everything we do in OG is review for these kids because they're behind. But in our tutoring world, this is the new content. So this is a challenge. So we do need to give them some nudges forward, but we need to do it in such a safe way that they can actually make the gains. Because this is the hardest thing for them, what we're asking them to do. Okay? All right, so now that would be if I was sitting next to my student. If I was working online, I might have my slides lined up. So this was my kind of discovery method slide. And then we'd go on to a slide like this where I have my word list. And it's really helpful on the annotate tool. They have something called Spotlight. So you can drag this underneath if you need to for the student. You could also, like, let's say if I'm like, oh, check this letter again. Is that a B or a D? So I can just highlight like that. Another thing that's good, and everything I'm showing you here, I'm sure works on Google Slides as well, is that you just add a shape and that becomes a tracking tool. So, and you can sometimes, a fun thing to do is to have them like customize the color that they like, you know what I mean? So if they, not like we really want to spend a lot of time here, but that's an easy way to kind of make that fun. So this is one way that you can do the tracking tool, and then they can just be pulled down. And actually, if you really want to get fancy, I believe you can do annotate on Zoom. I'm gonna get that. Sometimes I can't get it to work. Okay, sometimes my Spotlight can also still work on the screen, but right now it's not cooperating. So I have to close it in order to hide that. Let me just try one more time if I can get it to cooperate. Okay, so I'm showing them where they are. No, it's not letting me. Okay, well, you get the idea. All right, and then for the sentences, make that font big. And I do have to say, and fortunately, as unattractive as it is, Comic Sans is probably the best bet for our little kids because the A looks the way that we write it. So comic or chalkboard, depending on if you're on a Mac or a PC, can help. And so this could be the kinds of thing where they, you together, you find those vowels and you mark them ahead of time so that they can do the ah, and they can warm up their mouth for those different vowels. Okay, so that's what we're talking about when we do the discovery method. It's the warm up with the, for activating the prior knowledge, very briefly, what sounds the same, okay, what looks the same, okay, let's practice words, okay, let's practice sentences. And that's the gist of it. So now in the next video, we'll move on and we'll teach a consonant.